Hi, welcome to Shreya TV and Shreya TV podcast. And this is Conversations with Shreya. And here we discuss stories of courage to lead and sustain. If you haven't already watched the previous episodes, then you must because they're really interesting. But if you have, welcome back. Now, have you ever been lost or depressed and not known how to bounce back? If that's your story, then stick around because my guest today has not only lived these emotions but has self-healed into a stronger and a far more meaningful person who is well on her way to become an acclaimed writer of our times. Sravani Saha is an acclaimed writer of fiction, satire, humour, as well as a poet. She's the author of 3 published books, all touching different chords with her readers. Her first book, Yes, the Eggplant is a Chicken, is a collection of her humour essays. Her second book, 2 Letters of Love, written with hope, brings out the expressions of love mixed in a strange amalgamation of humour, sorrow and passion. And her latest book, Locked in Vanity, is a thriller that promises to keep you hooked right till the end. Shravani's professional journey highlights her corporate stints with giants like Google and some of the most dynamic startups of our country. But she ultimately found her ground through writing. She believes she is growing into a better human each day as she explores her craft in various forms of written expression. Sravani is also an active blogger and currently enjoys the status of the top writer on medium.com, where she has a global base of more than 5,000 followers. She was also the finalist for the Orange Flower Awards for Humour Writing conducted by Women's Web in 2017 and 2018. Sravani loves spending time with her son, who she truly believes is a treasure chest full of stories. She lives with her family in Bangalore. Shravani, finally, I get to do this with you, and we've known each other for 6 years now,
Yeah.
and I think you should know that I have followed your trajectory silently for a while, and I have admired you for a lot of things, not only because of what you've experienced and had the courage to share, but because of the way you have redeemed yourself and blossomed into this creative artist that you are today, and that is worth all the praise. So you are welcome.
Thank you so much, Shreya. Thank you so much for inviting me over.
No,
It's an honor for me.
it is a pleasure for me, and I have so much to discuss with you today.
Sure.
But I want to start by congratulating you on your latest book, Locked in Vanity. And when I was reading this book, I could kind of sense how your protagonist is kind of trapped in her own mind. What motivated you to write this book, and what's the deeper meaning behind the book?
I'm sure there was a lot going on in Ruby's mind when I was churning through her mind. We have to live through those characters when you are
Yeah.
describing a character.
Yeah.
I mean, on one hand, Ruby is an acclaimed model. She's rash.
Yeah.
She is entitled.
Yes.
She feels entitled that she has to own the house that her father built.
Yeah.
She feels entitled about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But when you dig deeper, you feel that yes, there is this human emotion of loneliness that is constantly straining through her. And otherwise, why would someone want to keep a dead bird in her fridge?
Yes.
Or
yes.
why would someone not want to let go of a dead pet?
Yeah.
And she's always looking for someone to love her and to care for her. But again, when there is probably a someone, she feels more entitled and she feels that she cannot let go of her beauty and of her career. So she is very career oriented as a person. So when I was reading upon how models they achieve fame or how models become the people they are, like when they achieve when they are supermodels,
Yeah.
for example,
Yeah.
they go through a lot. So when I was reading up, I could feel the pain that has come out through a lot of people's writings, those who have been models earlier.
Yeah.
And they have mentioned that some of them have been actually eating cotton wool because that
Wow.
would swell up in their stomachs and that would not make them feel hungry. Now imagine the kind of poison that they're getting into the body because they just want to be somewhere. Now Ruby, from my story, I have not showed any of her
Yes.
Correct. struggles.
Yeah.
But I have already shown her at a place where she is a supermodel.
Yeah.
But we understand that yes, modeling as a career can be traumatic.
Correct. And clearly she, even if she doesn't speak about how much struggle and trauma, like blatantly she hasn't spoken about it, but
Right.
somewhere through your
It goes
expression, one can always go back and kind of, live her, not a troublesome life, but how
The
hard
hard
she
times,
has
yes,
worked,
of
and
course.
that is why maybe she doesn't want, she keeps reminding herself, I'm the best, I'm
Yes,
here, I'm
yes.
where I am. But you know what, Shravani, I know that you have had a history of corporate stint. You've worked with companies like Google, and then you had a stint with startups, and then you took a maternity break,
Right.
but you didn't go back to
Right.
that life,
Right.
and instead chose to pursue your creative instincts. I want to know from you, how did you know that you had to take the creative route?
So actually, Shreya, I knew it for quite some time that I have always wanted to be a writer. So even as a child, so okay, I should tell you this funny story. So when I was a kid, I was in my 4th or 5th standards, and my brother is 2 years older to me. So one day he came back from school having written a very flowery essay, and his teacher had praised him for that. I was like, I can write better than this. But yes, I tried
Yeah.
to write a good essay, and I thought I had done a great job. And I was really surprised when my teacher told me that, Shravani, this is a very good essay that you've written, and it's very different from what you've written earlier.
Yeah.
So, from that time onwards, I felt that, okay, I can try harder, not for writing flowery essays and not to impress my teacher, but maybe I can use one word in a different way. I can flex it out and see what else I can do with that word.
Yeah.
So that kind of gained in me and gained over me, and I tried harder.
Yeah.
But I never, how it works with life. You study, then you get into a corporate life, and then everything falls behind.
Yeah.
You don't know where your passions lie. You don't
Yeah.
know where your creativity lies.
Yeah.
You don't even have time to think of that.
Correct.
So when I took a maternity break, so even when I was at Google, I thought of starting a blog. I did, but it never, I could not continue with it.
Yeah.
So when I took a break for my son, it was lovely to see him grow. I have so many stories written down of him because I would
Yes,
watch him
clearly,
sleep, and I would put them in a very humorous way on Facebook, and I saw people loved them.
Yeah.
Not only that, I also thought that, okay, now this is the time when I can explore my own creative passions and see if I can make something bigger. I mean, I'm not aiming for something really huge, but it is more about exploring my own passion and see what else I have in me to be able to push through. So I decided to write on Medium, and I gave myself a 30 days stint. Like, a lot of writers, what they do is when they're starting off, they have to push through because you do not know what to write about.
Oh, yes.
And second, when you have a deadline looming over you, maybe it comes from the corporate world again. When you have a deadline looming over you, you do turn out something, you do make something, you create something.
Yeah.
So I had a self-imposed goal that in 30 days I will write 30 articles. I understand not all of them were good, but that put me into this momentum of being able to create.
That discipline helped.
It brought into a habit. Now 30 days is again too small to make a habit, but if the onus is there that I see, okay, fine, people are reading this essay, even if maybe a very small 250 word passage, but some of them have liked it.
Yes.
So even if I have touched one person's heart, that means I have it in me to be able to write a little more. So let me explore more.
How easy or messy has this transition been?
I think, okay, maybe I'd put it midway. So in a corporate life, you're very disciplined.
Yeah.
You have to wake up, take a shower and go because your boss is waiting there.
Yeah.
The work is waiting there. Your teammates are waiting for you to finish something. So that is very disciplined. But when you're on your own, you let time slip away sometimes. Or you let life just come in front of you and stand in front of you and say, hey, today you're not writing because today I'm here as a guest.
Yeah.
So you let life come in and maybe Netflix today, one day, that one day becomes 2 days.
Yeah.
But that self-discipline is something that is very difficult. One, it takes a lot in me to bring that self-discipline.
Yeah.
But once I bring it, I know I'm going to kill it.
Wow.
So that is what has been a major challenge for me, which is very different from my corporate stint.
Yeah.
There I had a very disciplined life. Now my life was not exactly disciplined when I started out writing. But I know that I have a son who will come back from school at 3 o'clock. So I know I have only these many hours to finish my work because I want to spend some time with him because he is again a source of stories for me.
Yeah.
So I ensure that I do not when he's around, I do not work.
Did you always know as a writer that you have so many genres in you that you can reach and cover?
So when we read bigger authors, when we read acclaimed authors,
Yeah.
we know that they write in a particular genre, and that's what defines them.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'm aiming for that sometime, but right now I'm still exploring so much in myself. I'm probably yet to find my voice, I would
Yeah.
say, to be very honest.
Yeah.
And I'm exploring, and I believe that as a writer I should be able to write in every genre. And then there is something in me that will probably understand, okay, this is what is my voice, and I'm going to push through this.
Yes.
Okay, right now I'm in that space where I'm exploring a lot. I've written humor, comedy. I write satire. I've dipped my toes in a thriller. I know that's a very strict zone to get into,
Yeah.
but I like to push boundaries a little.
Yes.
And especially put myself in places where I know there's a little bit of discomfort. You
Wow.
know, if I have to be comfortable, I can just write maybe something that is very easy. I love nature. I love to write about maybe that bird, the tree, but that is something that comes easy to me. Okay, to be very honest. But I want to write about something that does not come to me so easy. So maybe I can push through and see, okay, maybe a passage or two, and this does not look good to me. Maybe have someone else read it out for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, that area of discomfort is what kind of pushes me to try to write in some genre that I have not tried earlier.
Of course, there are great benefits of being a solopreneur or a solo artist, but there are some pertinent challenges as well. And I want to know from you, how do you cope with the spurts of loneliness that are bound to arise while working solo?
Yeah, so I've applied for jobs. On days when I'm terribly frustrated, as in, like, how long can I be sitting in this room alone and churning out words? I just went and applied for jobs. It gets terribly lonely. But the best part is, there are other lonely people out there.
Yes. Yes.
And thankfully, social media is so helpful now. I have found a lot of writer groups who probably go through the same kind of routine as I do. And there are quite a few niche groups that I'm part of, and we are very close together. Maybe there are only 5 or 6 people in that group, but we talk. We talk every day, and we exchange ideas. So those are the kind of groups which kind of sail me through. I hardly go out anywhere. I hardly meet people because I'm a loner. You would find me sitting at my desk, maybe just churning out words. Sometimes I may go to a cafe just for a change of environment. So if I do not want to sit on my desk, I just go out in the open. I do not even carry my laptop. I love to write by hand. So I have a lot of notebooks and a lot of pens. I love stationery.
I read
So,
that.
Yeah, so I mean, I go all nuts on stationery. So I have a whole lot of pens. Even in my bag right now, I don't know how many pens you'll find out. So I mean, it works differently for different people, but this is what I can treat myself to, and I can work better this. But you know, at the end of the day, you want someone to speak to.
Oh yes.
And you want to tell them that, okay, you failed terribly at writing this kind of a story, or what a horrible thing that you've written, that you actually trashed it out.
Yeah.
That someone is my spouse. He's always there for me. So I do try to change my environment of working, though it is only my desk which actually gets my serious work done. But at least for getting ideas, I would drop in on conversations, I would eavesdrop on conversations,
That I read
watch people.
Some of your articles.
Yes, I think it's very I don't know if you would call it weird, but yes, there are those stints which kind of give you stories, you know.
But that's your inspiration, right?
Yes, those are my inspirations, and those are the things that kind of kick me. Okay, today I want to find out about a new person. Let's see.
Wow.
So overhearing conversations, or just dropping by, or just saying a plain hello to someone you meet on the road.
Yeah.
You know, that also kind of, then you see how she dresses, and then you.
That's a story.
Yeah, that's a story. That's the seed of a story.
Yeah.
So those kind of things, they kind of help me move along.
I want to now move to another aspect of your life, which I'm glad you're past it, but has, I think, been I think it's going to stick with you as a memory, and that is how you boldly declared your depression through your writing. And I want to know, how did it all start?
Okay, I don't know how it all started, honestly, but I believe it was postpartum, which kind of extended and went on to be my guest for longer than I had expected it to be. But honestly, I did not know that, okay, this is what is happening to me, because when you change as a person, you do not realize it until other people make it obvious to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, I'm usually a very chubby person. I speak to a lot of people, like random people on the road. I speak to people, but when I withdraw into a shell, that is not the right me. That is not something that is happening to me. And it takes time to understand that change which comes. And by the time you understand that change, a lot of time has already passed on, probably. So by the time I realized, I was already around 1.5 years into it, and I knew that, I was hopeless. I felt worthless. I felt there's no confidence, there's nothing in my life, I don't know what I'm doing. I felt my husband does not love me anymore. I felt he may ask me to leave someday because we were having tiffs, mainly because, my attitude had changed a lot.
Yeah.
I was absolutely like a walking dead.
Yeah.
So, I was a new mom, and it was very overwhelming for me to get hold of the changes in my routine.
Yeah.
Second, I had just stopped working. So, that from a social life to a zero social life, that takes a toll on you.
Oh yes, I relate to you on so many points. Yeah.
Right. And so that kind of pushed me into a pit, and I did not know when I slipped into it deeper and deeper. And then I used to cry a lot, and I thought I've never cried. I can be easy to, you can make me cry easily, but it's not like I would cry for days on end. For like 7 days a week, crying is not normal.
Yeah.
So it was when I realized that, okay, when I look into the mirror, it's just this angry woman who's kind of telling me things. It's not the normal me. There's no smile on my face. This is not the normal me. Whereas my child is very happy. I'm very happy when I'm with my child. I speak to him even though he does not understand much. Like this was when my son was few months old. But with other people, I was kind of withdrawing. I was climbing up into my own shell, and I had a few groups of friends on WhatsApp, and I just quit those groups because I did not want to interact with people.
Yeah. May I add the thing that I loved so much about the description of your, depression writing? It is how you have considered and acknowledged the silent sufferer in all this, which is not you, but your husband.
Yes.
So I want to really know, what role has he played in your healing process?
See, first, he has never pointed out that, you're crying or you're being rude to me. He has never pointed it out. He has always felt that, okay, she has a new child, she's a new mom, she's going through a lot. Let's give her some time. Be patient with her. And he's always asked me how he can help. I'm not sure how I would have loved him to help, because I was trying to cope with the different things that I had to do.
Yes.
But he has always offered me help. So when I was waking up in the middle of the night to feed the baby, he would be up. Maybe he could not help, but he would be up. So I knew, okay, no matter what, no matter how angry I am with him, he's there for me.
To be there.
Yeah.
And that is such a strong support.
It is a very strong support.
You need at that. You might not be in the zone to acknowledge that at that time.
Yes.
But I think if you go back and think about it,
he was there.
He was there.
If he was not there, I don't know where I would have slid down and how I would have messed up myself more. So when I acknowledged to him that, I think I'm depressed and probably I need help on that, he told me to go to a psychologist. He told me that I will take you. Let's find out some psychologists and let's go.
Yeah.
So he was very upfront. And the one thing that happens in families or among friends is that, if someone is depressed, it means he or she's mad.
Yeah, oh god, the negative connotation.
Yes, the negative connotation, they kind of paralyze the patient, the victim. But here it was very opposite. He said, okay, it's like, okay, if you're ill, if you have a fever, you go to a doctor. If you don't feel healthy in your mind, you go to a doctor. So let's go to a doctor.
And I think maybe it was genuinely normal for him to think about this.
Yes, this logical step.
Correct.
Yeah. But I felt that, okay, this is something that maybe we can think about before going to a doctor. I would definitely have taken the help of a medical practitioner. But when he spoke to me very openly, I understood that, okay, it's not like he does not love me, like I was thinking when I was deep in that pit. There's so much of warmth in him. Maybe let's try to talk and figure out what else I can do before we try out a doctor. And I felt, because I've always wanted to write, and whenever I felt happy, I would write a few words about nature, about a bird, about a leaf, or anything. So I felt, okay, I'm full of sadness. Let me just try to find out why I'm sad. Let me write about it. So those words were just, okay, if I'm angry today or if there has been a bout of crying, let me just write about why I cried in the morning.
Wow.
So I wrote about it. And then I wrote about it again, because I cried again, and then again, and then again. And slowly I figured out that there were a few reasons which were coming up in cycles, They were like repeated patterns. And I could figure out, one was overwhelming work. Second, no free time for myself. Third, I didn't do anything that I love to do. Okay. And fourth, I did not have any social life. I did not have any company except for my husband. So writing was anyway helping him, helping me, sorry, in a way that it was trying to help me find out, okay, these are the repeated patterns that are eating into me. So when I told him that, okay, I need more free time, he said, okay, let's work out a plan in which you can get your free time and I can look after the baby. Wow. And then I told him that, okay, I'm not working and that is something that is bothering me. So we worked out our finances in that way.
Wow.
When I told him that, okay, maybe dropping a towel on the floor or not capping the toothpaste is bothering me in those days. But they did not bother me earlier, but they're bothering me now. So he said, I'll be more careful about those things.
Wow, I think
so he has been very supportive. Yes, of course. I mean, honestly, Shreya, without him, I don't think I would have been able to sail through so easily because he has been very patient with me.
Kudos to him.
So,
and And I think to all those other men and women, I think, who are helping their partners move up, from a certain up, I think a big shout out to them here also. What I'm also understanding here is that when you are on the process of self-healing, I think what you've also done is that convince yourself that no reason is big or small, let's say cheap or classy. You don't want to label those reasons, but you want to commit yourself to write all the reasons, whatever's bothering you.
Yes.
I think you've done that.
Yes, there's nothing big or nothing small and nothing more shameful than anything. Like I felt, okay, if this is even the smallest thing bothering me, like a misplaced table mat, just write it down and try to figure out if that is at the root of the problem or there's something else that is causing an anger in you and causing you to cry. So, each step it funneled into something more, and when I could figure out the patterns in them, I could opt for the process of self-healing. Now again, since this I was not clinically stamped as depressed, but I could understand that yes, this was behavioral depression. Okay. Now going forward, I still feel that okay, I should keep my behaviors in check just to see if I'm relapsing.
That is such an important point.
And I feel it's very important because I wouldn't know when I'm becoming that person again. I wouldn't know. It's very difficult to know.
And you know what? I did read that blog of yours where you have explained that process of self-healing. And by the way, if you haven't checked out that blog already, you must, where Sravani has actually, I don't know if it's the discipline coming from the corporate world, but she's explained the process, a step-by-step process of what she did to ensure that she sustained on the path of self-healing. And I think it's worth reading for anybody who is in any sort of a dump. It's brilliant that you contributed that way. And when I was reading that, I just felt, there is so much learning because this entire feeling can be A, so overwhelming, B, you are scattered all over. And I think while you were in there and then you ensure that you brought some structure to it, is phenomenal how you've done that.
It was a difficult time for me, and I knew that I was taking a risk that okay, maybe I'm just wasting some more time in this, but I felt that no, I should try because I can feel, see, when you're depressed you do not know, but if you know it, half of your battle is won. That's what I've written even there. So honestly, after I wrote that post, I have had so many people. So the next day, the next day after the post released, I was like literally on a chat on G-Talk because so many of my friends, they came up to me and they said that Sravani, I have gone through similar things, but I've never had the courage to speak, or I did not know whom to speak to. That is another major thing. You do not.
Because you feel ashamed.
You feel ashamed. You do not know if the other person will even understand what you're going through. They'll say that she's just making a subject. I cannot tell you how many chats I handled that day, and those were all from friends, including my Google friends, including my friends from college. And it was overwhelming to see that yes, there's so many people had actually read it, and so many people are coming back. Now it has been around 2 years or 2.5 years. I still every week I receive emails from people from as far as Africa or from from God knows where people write in. But it is on one hand it is uplifting for me to see that yes, if I can speak about the darkest moment of my life, that can light up someone's hopes.
This is wonderful, and it just keeps bringing me back to a thought where sometimes writers end up healing people without having any of those plans of going ahead and healing somebody, but maybe just explaining your journey or just through your craft, you end up helping so many other folks. I have heard and read about such a journey that you've experienced, and I'm sure there are so many moments that you could be proud of, but what are you most proud of today?
What I'm most proud of today is that I I acknowledged that, okay, fine, I can write a word. And I understood that, okay, if I can make a difference even for one person's life, then my written words, my voice, it can make a difference to myself. Even that one person, if that one person comes to me and says, Shravani, I have read this and I identify with this, it can be as common as, when you open your wardrobe and all the clothes fall out. It can be, see, you laughed at it. It happens to me as well. Now, if I write about it, you can identify with it.
Yeah.
So it can be as silly as that, or it can be as serious as sharing my depression story. And that is what I'm most proud of, that yes, I've been able to acknowledge myself as a writer, and I've been able to figure out that yes, I can touch as many lives as possible in many different ways just by speaking out. So this is what I'm most proud of.
Wow, you clearly are an inspiration to so many women and men who either want to follow or pursue their creative instincts or already are and just want to borrow some inspiration, and that once again having that courage to share not only the highs but also the lows, and letting people know out there that there are people who go through this. So even when you're doing really well, there is a story and background to it. So you are so inspirational, Shravani, and I couldn't thank you enough for taking out your time to be here with me, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Shreya, and I wish you great luck with your journey ahead.
Thank you
so much for inviting me.
Thanks. Thank you, Shravani. As you can see, I clearly enjoyed every minute of chatting with Shravani. And if you enjoyed watching this interview, then please show some love. Not only like this video, but also subscribe to our channel, because there is a lot more heartfelt storytelling coming your way. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.